Everybody, welcome back to the XoneBros. I have something in my teeth that I've got to get out, but the podcast started, so I can't. But welcome. Thank you for being here. As always, this is your positive gaming and Xbox community. I'm X1 the Gamer. Jordan the Man. Mr. McSpicy is in the house, and it's been a big week. A lot of stuff has happened. Let's talk about XDefiant first, because Jordan's really hyping the game up.
Well, no, I just played like 3 rounds yesterday.
Hey, you like it, though?
I thought, well, it was, I mean, I had fun in the 3 rounds that I played. That's the point of a video game.
Yep.
So no, it was. It's basically it's a Call of Duty team-based hero shooter. Is the best way to describe it. It's the movement, the gunplay is very reminiscent of Call of Duty. Some would even say maybe older Call of Duties. The hero shooter part is you can pick a faction and they have powers. So basically what it is it's Ubisoft made this game, XDefiant. It's free to play, which is bonus for everybody. I mean
that's the secret sauce at the moment.
Depending on how you look at free to play, right? Yep. May be good or bad for you. But basically what they did is they took factions from all their games. So you have Splinter Cell, I think they're called Echelon. You have Ghosts, you have dissect, and then you have what were the people from Far Cry?
Oh, the Libertad
people? Yeah,
Libertad.
Yes. And each faction has different characters you can choose. From what I understand, I mean, when you load up the game, you only have one character from each faction unlocked. I don't know if the characters do anything different, but each faction has their own abilities. For example, I played as the Splinter Cell faction, and they can go invisible, and then their ultimate is they basically can see the whole map they can basically wall hack for like 6 seconds, essentially, and then they can kill people. But yeah, it's the best way to describe it is it's a COD team-based hero shooter, and it's free to play. And I played 3 matches last night, and I thought it was fun. I know on day 1 there was a lot of matchmaking issues, and I haven't really seen around town what people have been saying. But from my limited experience of 3 matches,
yeah,
I had fun. It felt good to play.
Do you think it's just going to be because watching it watches like a Call of Duty, like right there, like the.
Well, I think that's what they're going for. I think they're trying. I think this is Ubisoft's answer to Call of Duty, or their attempt.
You're not going to beat a Call of Duty.
Not with that attitude, David.
Yeah.
No, because to be a Call of Duty, you've got to be. To get people to switch,
you got to be a $1 trillion company.
No, you've got to be like. It's a class. It's why first mover advantage is such a strong principle, because when you're first in, the next person in doesn't just have to be. They either have to do something wildly different, or they've got to be exponentially better at what they're doing than you are.
Yeah.
Or they can just copy it like this looks like it copied it, and then wait for Call of Duty to make a mistake.
Which has happened. I mean, remember Ghosts?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a. I mean, we all know live service games like this make a ton of money.
Yeah,
I'm sure Ubisoft is looking for something. You know, it has done the math on a game like this.
Well, I don't think you're really gonna kill Call of Duty or essentially steal players from Call of Duty. I think people are gonna play Call of Duty very heavily from November to February, and then during the downtime, this is when you kind of slide into XDefiant. Maybe a new season drops or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I just am questionable if there's a.
I mean, time will tell. It just came out, but
for it. It looks
I'm not
good.
against it.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good for sure. It also looks. There was a time when, remember, the Blink 182 sound, the no FX sound, Anti-Flag was there, and
some 41s in
some
there.
41 was in there, and then
man, geez, I haven't heard Anti-Flag in forever.
Yeah, but then there's names that you don't know of, and it's because they were all being it was just flavor of the month, which I think is a Sum 41 song. But I feel like we're reaching this place in gaming where this feels like, is this going to have its own sustainable audience? Maybe, probably, or is it just flavor of the month? Is it just chasing these big godly numbers that a Call of Duty puts up?
Well, I'm sure Ubisoft is hoping to get get
Godly numbers.
Get godly.
Oh yeah,
numbers.
for sure they're
Yeah.
chasing it, no doubt.
I don't think they shouldn't try. I mean, we've had games that have tried that have just fallen away, like Bleeding Edge,
Titanfall.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you have these games, but then you have these games that come in and then they stand the test of time, like Rainbow Six. That.
Yeah, but Rainbow Six is still unique. Like Rainbow Six is distinct from Call of Duty.
Well, the distinction here is it's a hero shooter. Like if you like the Call of Duty gameplay and you like the Overwatch style type style objective gameplay, then this could fill that niche for you.
It could, or it could be like WTF.
But
why don't I just play Overwatch, or why don't I just play Call of Duty?
Is this week a glass half empty week for David?
No, I just like I'm sure
Glass
this is
half
fun.
empty.
Jordan says it's fun, but in my mind, it's like, well,
3 matches though. Like,
carbon copy. Like I just don't understand what.
Okay, to be fair,
what they're filling.
Three
here.
matches, yeah. Okay.
this last couple weeks, I have not been against carbon copies.
That's true.
Okay,
Okay.
I think there is some value to just
For something like
stealing stuff.
For something like this to succeed, Brewster says it in chat. It's all about long term. For something like this to succeed, it is about long term.
What Jordan's
sure.
referencing is Arena Breakout. How China just stole Tarkov, which is China versus Russia.
Yeah.
They straight up just stole it.
What's funny is like
you've been in on
like
it
as a Westerner, like I don't know, like morally you don't feel that bad because it's like, all right, well, Russia or China. All right, well,
Yeah.
I don't care if they fight each other.
I mean,
What it's doing is it's giving me good games.
neither of them can beat Rocky. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, so everybody knows Tarkov had its issues a little while ago, and everybody knows what Tarkov is, and that we do like Tarkov, like the gameplay aspect of it. We may not like some of their decisions, but both Gray Zone came out, which is a similar Tarkov style game, extraction shooter, but more recently, Arena Breakout Infinite is out, and they're actually doing drops this weekend on Twitch if you want to try and get into the closed beta right now.
That pissed me off how they did it.
So they're doing it again this weekend.
I don't care.
So yeah, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
How they did it upset me.
How'd they do it?
It's a drop, and if you watch, you can win drops or whatever. Excuse me. I won the drop, and then I go in to redeem it, and they say, "Oh, we only had 50,000. Better luck next time."
I mean, to be fair,
it was limited.
No, they did.
Oh,
To be clear,
So you were
or
just-
to be fair. Sorry, to be fair.
No,
they-
but why
so
award
you-
it to me?
so
Why
you-
give me? Because I have a key. They said I have a key now. It's just we're only giving out 50,000 at a time, and you just weren't fast enough. Why not?
actually,
say,
since you have the 100%, tomorrow you might just be able to go and click it again and then
still
get
upset
it.
me. Why
Yeah.
not say you won it? It will be available to you in 2 weeks.
yeah, you could do that.
Why make me go through all the hoops to get the stream key attached to my account and then get to the screen to download and then say, hey, sorry, better luck next time? Why would they have me? Now they have all my information when I wouldn't have given it to them if I didn't.
China.
I know.
Yeah, see?
It's dumb. It upset me. I was legitimately pissed off because
Yeah, he was.
I won this. I won the Steam key, the game key to play the game. And then they're like,
Maybe
well,
what
you
they
got it.
wanted you to do.
But
since
it's not. You don't
since
get
it's
it.
China, maybe what they wanted you to do.
Technically, you won the
It
opportunity.
was a bait and switch, straight up.
You won the opportunity to try and win the beta key.
No, but I have a key. I have the key. It's tied to my account. They're just not unlocking it now, and they did not say that was the case originally. And why not just say it'll be unlocked in 2 weeks? Great work.
It's a social
Now
experiment.
I have to go through all the stupid hoops again.
I don't know. I would check your account periodically. Maybe you got it.
No, I don't got time for that. That's the problem. I don't want to check it periodically. I had time at that moment of the day.
I think China just wanted to mess with you and then steal your data.
Why I'm upset? I'm not upset that I didn't get it. I'm upset that I got it, and now I got to put in more time to get it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's frustrating.
But let's be honest. You will.
But I don't got time to periodically check.
I think China's saying, okay, how can we?
Yeah,
How many times will they put up with this?
They're doing what Russia does. How can we make Americans
I get
mad?
their perspective. It's just anti-consumer.
Well,
It's
isn't
straight
that
up-
like literally
That's like-
China summed up?
That's like the motto of the CCP.
yeah, I think they have that on their flag.
Well, then I'm allowed to be upset about it. I'm allowed to be mad because I didn't like being treated that way.
We have 2 super chats here. Adidas 20, member for 8 months. Wingman status says gaming media will pass out 1099s to Xbox starting June 9th. That's funny. Thank you very much for being a member. Adidas 20. And Dominic DiBiaso celebrates tier 2 Wingman status for 21 months. Thank you so much for all of your support. If you'd like to support the show, come over to YouTube, youtube.com/positive gaming or /X1Bros. Either one works. Hit the member button, or the join button.
The member jet.
The join. I think it actually says join, and that's how you become a member.
Yeah.
And if you haven't yet, subscribe to us, like us. Also, you can support us by leaving a review, 5 stars, over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Jordan, you were going to say something about...
Oh yeah, basically, where that conversation was leading to is Arena Breakout Infinite
Yep.
is a clone copy of Tarkov.
It's straight up. They even
Same maps?
Nikita, the person who's developing Russia,
Yeah.
posted code that would use the boss names from Tarkov that China used in their game. So they straight up copied
Wow.
from Tarkov.
And there's nothing they can do. Well,
Well, what is Russia gonna sue China? Like,
what you would have to do, because is it in its own launcher?
Battle State Games has its own launcher.
No, sorry. Arena Breakout?
I don't. I would like to give you that information, but unfortunately,
He didn't get
they
a
like
code.
to waste my time,
didn't get a code.
and I'm not able to download and play the game.
They do have very similar maps. In fact, there's a map on Tarkov called Woods, and the very similar map in Arena Breakout Infinite called Valley. So
That's funny.
they even what made me laugh so hard is Arena Breakout Infinite has the lion. Have you seen people
Yeah,
loot the,
it has
like the
all the
same
stuff.
loot?
There's
and
the
everything?
line like it's
But
a copy.
You know what? People like big Tarkov streamers like Landmark and like Pest, like they seem to be having fun with it. And Arena Breakout Infinite does stuff that Tarkov
Should have done.
should have done. Yeah. And honestly, look, if this lights a fire under Tarkov to like, all right, maybe we should not, drag our feet for the past 8-9 years.
Yeah. Interesting.
Then hey, hey, look, at the end of the day, when Russia and China fight, I win. So
Okay, fair. On
To a certain level.
yeah.
On that note, let's jump into the big item on the week, and that is Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga. She's no longer sacrificing, she's sagaing.
Oh.
Yes. And our thoughts, I jumped into it. Jordan the Man jumped into it. Spicy's just downloaded it, so he'll be jumping into it this weekend. I will start. Well, first, shall we ask this question? Is it the best looking game on consoles to date? Because Spider-Man on PS5, the newest one, it looks really good.
Yeah,
Does this beat that or no?
No, I mean, I think there's no denying it, whether you like or dislike the game. Graphically, the game is probably one of the best graphical fidelity games we've seen this generation.
Yeah, even when you watch it on
and when you
YouTube, like you're going to see here for those watching live, it doesn't do it justice. It's
and it
beautiful.
does pretty good
And it does pretty good justice.
yeah, but no, it is an incredibly good looking game, and I think it's one of the best looking games, if not the best looking game out right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Overall game.
Jordan, you actually went back and played the first Hellblade in the week coming up to. You actually went and beat it.
Yeah, I played Hellblade for this is the first time I ever played Hellblade, was like a week before playing this.
Yeah, so you're like back-to-back comparisons here.
Yes.
Give me your thoughts on it. How does it compare to the first one and your overall review?
It's more of the first one.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's like when Borderlands 3 came out. Borderlands 3 was a lot of Borderlands 2. And at that point in my life, I didn't mind it because that's kind of what I wanted.
That's
That's
what you want.
more of that.
That's what they do right.
There are improvements they make in this game, and there are, I don't know if I want to call them drawbacks. There's differences they do in this game. Whether you like them or not will be a matter of your opinion. Combat being one of them, or at least the way combat is done.
See, I think you and I disagree on this a little bit. I think combat is better done in this one. It's more action oriented.
I think it depends on what you want. Yeah. And if you want to get into it, let's just talk about combat.
Let's talk about combat.
So combat, the way combat works is it's do you want to say Souls-like? I mean, it's kind of that dodge, parry, attack combat style. So in the first game, and this comes into a few different things. So in the first game, there were points where you would fight multiple enemies.
Oh, look, yes, continue that, but spicy, don't turn it. We're talking about combat. This is one of the coolest combat scenes. This is at the beginning of the game. Like, it's cool how they do it, but go ahead.
Yeah, so in the first game, you could have multiple enemies, and you could switch between them, and you would have to, let's be honest, you would basically just parry them to death.
Yeah.
That's what you would do. In this game, they've changed it. You're only ever gonna fight one person at a time, and the trade-off between that is, I think, in the first game, what was really cool about fighting multiple people is the game is about psychosis, which I'm sure everybody knows by this point. And if you're fighting one person, a really cool game mechanic is the voices in your head would say behind you, and if you hit the parry button right when they said behind you, you would turn and parry that person.
Yeah.
And it actually did feel really good gameplay wise. However, that being said, by the end of the game, when you basically become a god of combat, those voices get very annoying. So, there. Now, going to Hellblade 2, you're only fighting one person at a time. Because you're only fighting one person at a time, the presentation of that fight is much more cinematic and theatrical and very immersive in a way. The enemies, it feels like the camera's a little bit closer.
It feels like you're in a movie.
Yeah, it's very
Like,
it's very
this sequence
cinematic
right here. When I played through this sequence, my jaw was dropped because it's one camera and they just pan from. There's clearly stuff happening around you, and they just switch from person to person, and it's well presented.
Now,
and it's well done.
Now, because you're only fighting one person in the second game, and because, the reason. Because you're fighting one person, like you said, it's much more cinematic, the combat. Because you're fighting only one person, the baseline difficulty, I feel like, has been increased. So in both Hellblade 1 and 2, you can go in and you can crank the difficulty all the way down and basically just do nothing. Do nothing the whole game. If you leave it at, like, I think they call it dynamic, so the game tries to, like, okay, you suck. We'll lower them, or hey, you're getting good. Well, and I actually kind of like that idea because the game kind of grows with you as a player.
Yeah.
But in this game, I feel like if we were just to take both baseline combats, this one is harder. And I think the reason they did that is because it's countering the fact that you're only fighting one person at a time. Also in this game, you can't just parry to win.
No.
I don't feel it. So in the first game, as soon as I got the parry timing down, which was very quickly, I for 95% of my combat, I parried.
Yeah, no.
And that's all it was.
Yeah.
In this game, the way the parry works, you can still parry a lot, and I do still parry a lot, but there are a lot, you do have to dodge and duck and use your focus ability, I feel like, a lot more in this game because of the movesets of the enemies and how the new combat works, because you're kind of fighting that one person.
Yeah.
But those are the differences of the combat between the two games. Now, you may like one over the other. I don't know which. I think both have their pros and cons.
I think let's say that they're even. Let's say they cancel each other out, and there's no preference to the style. The present, it's more action oriented this time around, which I prefer.
It's more cinematic action, I would say.
But no. What I mean is, the amount of fighting. Fighting takes more center stage than it did in the first.
Yeah, you're thrown into fights quicker in this one for sure.
Quicker, more often, faster. I mean, quicker, faster. But yeah, more often, bigger, I would say.
I don't know. I guess the set piece, it's different because it's more. So it's not bigger in the sense that you're fighting 10 guys at once. It's bigger in the sense that for example, this scene we're watching right now, it's one of the first battle sequences, and what they do with darkness and fire and how, and this is going back to that fighting one enemy. I think they can do this, going back to that cinematic combat.
Well, in fact, if Spicy rewinds a little bit, you'll really be able to see it.
Because when you're fighting these guys and you go in for like an execute kill, or she goes to finish them off, there's things that happen around you, like the fire goes off. It just cinematically, it looks incredible.
Yeah, especially on my TV.
Yeah, no, it cinematically, this game is above and beyond.
It gave me an eye erection.
Yeah, that's
Hard.
yeah. So.
That's what this game does. But overall, Jordan, what do you think it's better? Because you played them back to back here. Do you like this one better than the first? Do you think overall?
I think it's more of the first game, and that's what it is. If you liked the first game, you will like this one. If you did not like the first game, you will not like this one. This game is what did I tell you it was yesterday? It is a narrative-driven puzzle adventure.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's exactly what
one was.
That's exactly what the first one was, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But that's exactly what the first one was, and that's exactly what this one was. The first one, I feel, is a 7 to 8 of a game because it's an experience. And my first experience was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and it is very different if you've never played a game like it, which there's not very many games that are like this.
Yeah.
The second game, so if I gave the first one a 7 to 8, I would give this one a 8 to 9, and I do think the presentation of the game is what brings it up.
I agree with that. But the presentation is twofold, so it's both visually appealing.
Yes, visually and
but audio,
audibly.
Yeah, audio. They stepped it up in both of those categories. Like huge step up. The audio is you have to play with headphones. If you're not playing with headphones, you're missing out on the entire game. That's the same with the first one, because so much of it is this spatial audio that's telling this story to you. But I think so. I agree with Jordan's analysis there. I think it's between an 8 and a 9. I would probably say it's closer to a 9 for me. I mean, any game that gives me an erection is going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to say that word out loud about something,
yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
that's not a word I throw around lightly.
No, I don't think I've ever heard it.
You've made that up. I don't think that's an Urban Dictionary word.
It is now.
It is now. But no, I enjoyed the first one a lot, and the first one was an experience, man. Like the first Hellblade, when you put on those headphones, it does something that really no other game.
Is it an erection?
It's an erection. That was an erection. This one's an eye erection. That's what happened. But I think it's probably close to a 9 for me. I think this is a classic game. I don't. Here's the thing: this style of game is not for everybody, so it may not be for you.
No, 100% it's not. There's actually I have like 10 people off the top of my head who I would not recommend this game to.
Yeah. If you are looking
and
for
the first
a
game
God
I would
of
not
War-like experience or an RPG, like this is not that.
Nope.
If you're looking for an action adventure, Assassin's Creed type of, this is not that. This is very linear.
Not Uncharted, not any of that.
It's very linear. It's very story driven. It's probably closer to Tall Tales.
You literally are stealing all my opinions that I told you yesterday.
And it is.
Yeah, this game you
to
can
God of War.
You can compare this game better to a Telltale game than you
Telltale,
can. Yeah, this game is more comparable to a Telltale game than it is God of War, and all that stuff. And to be honest, I'm just gonna say that I think I've seen, because there's been a lot of discourse on this game this week. And I've seen people saying like, "Oh, this was supposed to be the God of War killer." Who said that? No one ever said that.
No.
And
just
to be
because
honest,
they're both Vikings.
And to be honest, if you did think that, and to be fair, I thought when I went into Hellblade, I knew it was a puzzle game, but when I went into the first Hellblade, I was expecting like an Uncharted style game. This is not an Uncharted game at all.
No.
Right? The first one wasn't. So going into number 2, I knew what the expectations of the game were, but people that were kind of hyping this game up in their mind, saying like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be the God of War killer. This is going to be, this and that and blah blah blah." Like, Ninja Theory never said that. Ninja Theory never attempted or tried or even wanted to do that.
Well, here's the thing too. First of all, there's a lot. I think Xbox is in a very polarizing place at the moment, amongst mentally ill influencers and creators.
That's fair.
And I mean, you can see creators who gave the first Hellblade a 9.5 and are giving the second one a 4, for instance. And I just don't know how you get there. Like, if you didn't like the first one, I get why you don't like the second one. If you love the first one, I don't get why you don't love the second one, because it's, in my opinion, it's everything the first one was, but better. I think the here's something that I think they're changing the game on. The photo mode alone is mind-boggling. Jordan, you think it's a new standard in gaming?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think their photo mode is a new standard for photo modes, and I'm not really that into photo modes.
As I was playing with the photo mode, I was like, Spicy is going to lose himself. You can put lights wherever you want in the photo mode.
Yeah, cool.
It's at any point you can do it at any time. Just press up on the D-pad and boom, there's photo mode.
Yeah, and you zoom out of your character. You can add light, shadow. It's basically like budget Photoshop within a game.
It's insane.
Okay, but Photoshop is not a light 3D renderer or anything.
Oh, whatever.
It's After Effects.
Yeah, it's a budget After Effects within a game.
It's whatever this
whatever
is,
you want it to be. It's a budget version of that in a game.
All right, I didn't mean to get technical, but
look up. You could pull up the actual photo mode demo that they do, and that shows off
I'll pull that up.
It shows off what you can do in that photo mode. And I'm not a huge photo mode person.
Yeah, but
and I probably won't ever really will be. But it is nice to have the tool.
Yeah, but overall, I really like it. I do think there's a criticism. In fact, R51 Gaming is talking about it in chat here. There's a criticism that came up about the length of the game, and they're mocking it. People saying 4 or 5 hours. It's longer than that. I think it's probably 6 to 8. At least the way I play.
I mean, I would say on average 5 to 8.
Yeah, but the first one was the same length. So once again, nothing different there.
Well, and I don't have issues with lengths of game. As long as the value is there. So, for example, and I wrote this down, other games that were very short but that were very good were Limbo and Inside.
Yeah,
those games were like 3 to 4 hours. Firewatch, if you guys remember that one, that was another 5-hour game. Portal 2 was only an 8-hour game. And if you take games like Firewatch in particular, and those games are a little bit more closer to what this game is. But anyway, the length of a game doesn't bother me. It's the value that I get within the length of that game.
Agree. It's the experience of that. In fact, that's a question for me. I actually think in a world where games are exhaustive at 80 to 100 hours, 60-plus hour games, I actually think we're going to see more of this. I would like to see more of this. When I say a 6-hour game, that means I can put in an hour a day for 6 days. I could go 30 minutes a day and beat it in 2 weeks. A 100-hour open world game, a 50-hour open world game, I just never beat because of how busy we are and how many options there are out there. And so I actually like the shorter length. Now, is it the sweet spot? I don't know. I think it does what the game intends to do, and I think it's really good. I do think there is an Xbox tax. I did a video on that this week, and I didn't think that going into it because I'm reading the review and like, okay, I could see why you wouldn't like that. But then when you compare, and there's no way to compare because it's only on Xbox this time around and PC. It's not on PlayStation as well. But if you look back at how people reviewed 1 and you take their review now for 2, they're a 9.5 to a 4 is one of the examples given.
Well,
and it just doesn't make sense to me. If you really liked the first one,
well, that's
this is the first one with a lot of improvements.
Well, it is the first. It's more of the first one. Now, there were some reviewers out there that were they started out their video with how much they loved the first one, and then they go to give this one like a 4 or a 2 or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
and the first one they're like here's an example of a reviewer who will not be named, who's pretty big. They start their first review of this game. They're trying to do something different. And that's also with time. And I love that how short this game is, that I have the ability to beat it within this amount of time. The first thing on their Hellblade 2 review is, I can't believe how short this game is. This game is not even worth your time. It's so short. It's like, well, bro, What are you talking about?
If anything, maybe like if you gave the first game let's say you gave the first game an 8. If anything, I can see some people like, I think it's in the 7 to 9 range. You know what I mean? But going from like a 9 to a 4, the reason, like every game's different, but the reason why is because this is literally more of the first game.
Yeah.
Everything in the first game is here in this second game. Now, there are improvements in the second game, like graphic fidelity, presentation, and stuff. So I think if you took baseline and baseline, they're at least the same.
But overall, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what I was going to say.
Oh, no. Well, I thought you were done. Sorry, I was going to ask. So
in the middle of his
no, I thought he was done.
I thought
with
you
his
were
point.
done. He was not even. There was not a period
Sorry,
at the end of that word.
I apologize. But overall, what do you give it up between an 8 and 9?
Between an 8 and a 9. I think both games are an 8.
Yeah.
Roughly. I think the first one's maybe a 7 to an 8, and this one's an 8 to a 9.
Yeah, and I give
mostly
this
because of
probably
presentation.
8.5 at least would be my minimum. And I've not finished it yet, so like at the end of the story, that's when I can give my final review. But right now, for me, it's a 9 for me.
I will say this, and this is what I think pushes it up to a 9. Like we've said, this is a very niche, unique game, and there's a very niche, unique audience that will like this game. So going back to graphical presentation, like why this bumps it up a little bit over the first one for me, the cinematography.
A little bit.
Yeah, the cinematography and how they do some of the battle sequences and the close-ups with there's one scene where the camera shows half of Senua's face and it's super close up, and then the other half of the screen is the background and it's like a blurred bokeh effect enemy, and the way it looks is incredibly cool. The cinematography. Yeah, that fire battle sequence,
the transitions that they do between chapters is mind-boggling. There at the very beginning, you get this where you're in one scene and then the camera. It's not this one. It's actually the transition before this one, but you're in one scene and then the camera looks down and you don't know what you're looking at, and then when it comes into view, it shows you what you're looking at, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it's Senua, but it's so cool.
This is how do you explain it? Like, this is the best art I have seen this generation.
It's the best looking game this generation.
When I say art, I mean like the way it's directed, the way it's presented. I don't want to go into some of the later battles when you get to other bigger things, but the very first like big battle sequence with the fire and like how every so many seconds the fire pulses and the entire game is just like the visual look of that. I think this is the best looking art we have this generation.
Oh, for sure. Now, some players, even on the PC, even are calling this the best looking game they've ever played. Do you agree with that?
It's probably the best looking game out right now. And if you have a 4090 and you can crank this thing,
holy,
it's definitely the best looking game on console right now. And I would say it's...
And prior to this, what would you give it to? Spider-Man? Because Spider-Man is impressive in the city.
Spider-Man does look really good. But I mean, it's almost a different art style, but I do think this is...
It cranks.
Now, I'm not saying that this is a better game than Spider-Man, but it does look better. And it's the way... Again, it's the way they direct... There is one issue I have with the direction of the game. I don't know how to say this, but I very much dislike the top and bottom bar to make it feel like a movie.
See, I didn't even notice it was there till you pointed out, but I was on my big TV.
Yeah.
But on a monitor, you would notice that more.
Yeah, I don't like it. It bothers me. I wish there was an option to get rid of it. I get it is an art choice and it is a direction style. And Mark, maybe you may have input on bars, but
well, I mean,
it bothered me for the game.
Sure.
That's like my one big criticism of the game is I don't like those bars, and you can see them when we're watching
on my TV.
Well, because your TV's so big, it doesn't matter.
You won't notice it.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I'm not a fan of bars during gameplay. During cinematics, I'm okay with it. What bars do is it's basically turning it into like a theater, dimensions. So it makes it so you feel like you're in a theater.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's a very cinematic, if you want to use that word, look. What I get annoyed with from watching this gameplay is the subtitles are going down into the bar and they're going left and going right. I strongly dislike that. The reason I know what it's for. It's for her thoughts or whatever.
I would actually turn the subtitles off if you're playing.
Yeah,
this.
this game makes no sense with subtitles.
See there and there. That makes me not look.
Yeah, it's distracting
at the screen. It makes me look down, and I have to look around the screen, and it makes me.
Those are her voices.
Distracting from the actual gameplay.
Yeah, don't play this game with subtitles.
I actually I turned them off. I wouldn't play it because I think
it doesn't default on. Mine doesn't default on.
I mean, every game I've played in the last 3 years the subtitles have defaulted as on.
Yeah. Sometimes the subtitles sometimes the subtitles I do like them on, but in this game in particular because of how the audio works and what the game is about,
it's a
Psychosis
headphone experience.
It's I turn the.
So here's the thing, though.
The subtitles off.
Do you think so? Let's say we get a Gears game next on Unreal 5. This is the standard graphically. That every game graphically is going to be compared to. Well, it looks good, but it's not as good as Hellblade. Is that going to be a problem? Do you think, or do you think that this? And in other words, what I'm asking is, this could be the beginning of the true next generation games.
Can I give my opinion? So remember when Rise came out for the original generation? That was probably the
This was really
standard.
pretty. Yeah.
However, you don't necessarily need graphics to make a great game. I actually don't even think you need it. Like, look at Zelda. Look at these games that have hardware restrictions that just cell shade and the gameplay is just fun.
Yeah.
I will say graphic fidelity is awesome, but I don't think by any means it's a game seller.
Yeah, but in a Gears of War, it's going to be very interesting. I'm just going to be very interested to see
Gears of
what
War,
we get with Gears of War, because Gears of War was already great looking and is known for high fidelity graphics and a very specific look. Will they match that? They kind of have to, I think. I would imagine.
This standard definitely pushes gaming forward, I would say. But I don't think it's necessary for every game to come out next to be pretty.
I don't think graphics make a good game. I do think graphics can enhance your game, and I do think the graphic and the cinematography, art direction of this game did enhance it, but that's because of what this game is. It is a it's
an experience.
And actually, the second one, more in particular, I think one of the biggest changes from the first one to the second one is they very much doubled down on a narrative cinematic story.
Yeah, then that's
and having higher fidelity graphics in this particular case helps you with that.
It enhances that for sure.
Now,
it's a wow factor game when you play it, and if you've got a good TV, play it on your good TV. It's a wow factor game. It's very impressive. So, Spicy, you saw the photo mode. What'd you think of just? Well, let me tell you, it's impressive when you jump in, because at any point, doesn't matter what's happening, you just press up on the D-pad, boom, photo mode.
Yeah, budget After Effects, right? That's
But yeah, it was really something. No, yeah, it's cool. It's basically like a 3D rendering program where you can throw in lights. Obviously, you're moving the camera around, and so you can throw in lights to objects, and you can change the glow, the ambience. What's happening?
So these are just like really big spoilers.
Yeah, you might want to go back to the beginning.
I'm just gonna take it back to the
Yeah, there you go. This is like the very beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, we can pull up this.
I mean, the game is pretty short, so once you get past the first 10-15 minutes, it does get into very.
So basically, what they did with photo mode is they unlocked the engine itself, because this is what you can do inside the engine. You can increase the ambient light. You can put specific lights.
Well, they're even adjusting her position.
Yeah, so it's like game engine modifying that they did. This title on this video. Here, I'm going to scroll down. I don't know if people can see that. It says new Hellblade 2 photo mode features coming to Xbox Game Pass. I don't know if that means Hellblade 2 is coming to Xbox Game Pass, or if this is some features that they're going to unlock.
No. This is just for that
Hellblade
creator to capitalize on Game Pass SEO.
That was just
Anyone out there creating a YouTube channel, the number one search thing on Xbox is Game Pass. So include it in all of your titles.
But see, as we're watching right now, you're creating the light. You can change for it to be omnidirectional. You can change the softness. You can change the
color. color.
all that stuff. So, and that's standard in any like 3D rendering program. I mean, After Effects has that capability. Even Jordan, Photoshop, you can do that.
This is a budget version.
But it's not like this.
Okay, so this is better than Photoshop.
To be fair,
said here.
Photoshop can do this kind of stuff.
It looks like they took
very
this
limited.
Scene, they took this scene and just completely changed it, and like that's what's so impressive. And yeah, as you play with it, you're like, whoa,
like you would have fun with something like this.
Yeah, in fact,
the problem is,
I just wait till they're in funny positions and then I move the camera around.
I gotta tell you,
so
I'm a photographer IRL in real life, and I don't want to do photography when I'm gaming.
Well,
does that make sense?
Here's the thing.
I want to take the day off.
Fair enough.
And I want to play games.
Here's the thing,
but
though,
that does look cool.
That's cool.
When you're slicing some dude's head off, and you
wanna-
hit up
and you
on the
wanna
D-pad,
capture that
and you're
moment.
like, whoa.
But it is cool. It is cool. Yeah, I mean, I would like it. I'm just joking. So.
What I really like about this game, speaking of, I always say like the devil's in the details. I really like the detail of this game in the way they do their animations, the way they like
Even
just
her hair.
Yeah,
You're behind it all the time, but the way the hair moves.
I love this. This was in they did this. Was it Uncharted or Last of Us? It was one of the Naughty Dog games. But when your character would walk, they would like touch things like when you're walking.
Yeah, she does that.
So when you're walking here and she like walked through a door, she kind of like put her hand on it and I tested it. She didn't do it every single time. So it's like I don't know.
The character reacts to the environment around them.
The facial animations are next level. When one of the characters smiled and like the wrinkle, like they're using like motion capture and stuff like that. And I think, to be honest, a lot of the critics out there of this game would say like, oh, 6 years to make and Microsoft money, blah blah blah. Where did it all go? I think that's where your Microsoft money went.
Yeah,
the ability to get this equipment to do this stuff is.
Where it went is
really good.
Is to the experience.
I would argue. I think Naughty Dog are the best animators in the industry. I think this game is just as good as their animations.
Yeah.
I think the animations in this game are just as good, if not better, than the animations we've seen in the Naughty Dog games. And I do think those animators are incredible. Another thing I like details. You said fighting.
Yeah.
When you slash the sword, it's super cool. You can actually see it indent their skin like almost a couple millimeters, and then like you slide it out and like you can see that like it's the detail is. I get why people are calling this game a tech demo because it almost kind of is in a way. Like it's what they were able to do on the Series X with this game.
Here is the thing.
Is really like I said. I think it's the best art we have this generation.
Even those who I'm critical of, who I think have a little bit of anti-Xbox sentiment at the moment because this game, Xbox is buying everything. Even they admit, even the haters of this game admit it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
like it's that undeniable.
And we'll say it now, just like Mark said earlier before someone in the comments says it. Good graphics do not make a game. Yes.
But they enhance
but
it.
This,
they can enhance it.
Because of what this style of game is, those good graphics do enhance this experience. Like, for example, if you played this game in 16-bit, you would not get the same experience as you do right now.
No, definitely not.
I do, Jordan, I do agree with you. The letterboxing on it is...
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I call it movie bars, and they bother me. It almost bothers... Like, I used to hate buying DVDs when only the widescreen was available.
I mean, they're trying to add to the art.
I get it. It's a direction choice.
They're meant to preserve the aspect ratio of theater to home.
That's why on my TV,
viewing.
I didn't notice it. It was like it fit perfect.
That's the point of them. But in so doing, it has our minds have gotten used to the wider aspect ratio. But I don't know. I'm looking at it and I think it would just be nice if it was just full.
I wish
see, on a
there
small
was an
monitor,
option.
On a small monitor, it feels like your view is limited. But I'm on my TV. That's why Jordan
it definitely shrinks it.
Yeah, it's why Jordan he was watching me play it, and I was like, "Hey, come watch this on my big TV." And
although I did still hate them on your TV,
but I didn't even notice it.
But
He's
it is
I
better.
hate the bars, and I was like, "Bars? Oh yeah, I guess there's bars there. Wow, I didn't even notice that." But let me tell you, spicy.
I'm going back and forth though because I don't know. Our minds have been trained to appreciate the wide viewership.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want the screen space. So,
Well,
I'm going back and
it's
forth.
it's very much a direction to sit like an art style direct. Like it's
Yeah, I
a
think
you know
I
what I
would-
mean. Like it's.
My final answer is I'd prefer it to not be there.
I just wish there was a toggle. Like that's the first thing I did is I went into the settings to see if there was a toggle, and there's not. So
Grand Theft Auto has a toggle.
yeah, they also have first person mode too.
Yeah, you can press those on and off. You can turn those on.
Let's move on. Everybody, go check out Hellblade. Form your own opinion on it. See what you think. But it's definitely worth. It's on Game Pass. It's worth experiencing, man. It's the best looking game on console, bar none. It's the new standard, I think, and it's on Xbox. That's really
Well,
cool.
new standard of graphics.
Graphics, yeah.
You know what's
For sure.
interesting? Can I tell you something fascinating about letterboxing?
Yeah.
So generally, when you had these, like when you go from theater to TV, you've had, if you recall, like you used to have this warning at the beginning, the film has been modified to fit your TV screen.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what they do is they zoom in and they go left on a person or right on a person. So they re-edit the video, but they zoom in so you don't hit those. You don't have to deal with these bars.
Why did they put that there though? Like, why
What-
do they feel the need to tell me that?
To tell you what
That the
probably
movie has been
illegal. It's probably
modified.
illegal. thing?
Yeah, because it's been modified.
I always
It
use-
literally like so in Star Wars. Let's just say you could see like I can't remember exactly, but you can see Luke on the left and the two moons on the right. Well, in the letterbox or when they have modified it, it's just Luke, and so the movie has actually been modified. It's not exactly how the director pictured it, so they have to,
I
they're
see
saying
that.
that. You know what's fascinating about that, though? Batman, the animated series, the movie that came out was reversed. It's like the only movie that was backwards because they originally did it for TV, but they turned it into a movie, and so they had to do it backwards.
That's cool.
It's
That is
like
a fun
one of the
fact.
only movies. It's really fascinating if you want to learn. There's lots of documentaries on it.
Do they
so.
not really do it anymore because of like technology, basically, like TVs, how they are today compared
Fatalities.
to how they were
I
back
think it
then?
had to do with fatalities.
Fatality
Well,
rate.
no, because they don't do it anymore because your TV back in the 90s was in a 4:3
Yeah,
ratio.
well, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Now it's
TVs now are generally at a 16:9. Then you can get the super wides and stuff like that. I'll bet you that the super wides, like on a PC, there would be no bars. Is my guess.
Oh,
were to
if you
play-
got yeah.
But so TVs are generally wider now at a 16:9, which is 1080.
Yeah, it's why I don't
It's
think it
720,
didn't bother me at all. And in fact,
38,
I was like, oh yeah, no big deal. What do you complain about? But if I was on a computer monitor like Jordan is,
But
it
you
would
still-
bother me because
you-
it does feel limiting.
You still have the bars though, David, because this
No,
is really.
yeah. It's still the bars are still there, is what I'm saying. But it didn't feel limiting at all.
Imagine,
so it didn't bother me at all.
Imagine how free you would feel if the bars just disappeared. Like, imagine.
It's definitely an art choice, yeah.
No,
it's
yeah,
def-
that's
and
so I'm not like upset with it. I just my personal taste in art, I prefer not those bars.
It's the same reason why in many video games you have the movies go to 24 frames per second, and then in gameplay bump back up to 60 or 120.
Yeah.
It's because our eyes have gotten used to the 24 frames format, and it cinematically just feels good and looks good because over time our minds have just gotten used to movies with a very specific frame rate. And people are like I laugh when people complain. Well, the frame rates go down to 24 frames during cinematics, but that's a very ignorant complaint because what they're doing is they're giving you the cinematic experience versus the high frame rate. I think it's absolutely the best way to experience a game is high frame rates during gameplay and 24 frame rates or 24 frames per second during cinematics.
Do you remember they used
if
they did
if you're in Europe 25, but
they did I can't remember if it was like 360 PS3 or if it was PS4 Xbox One. I think it was PS4 Xbox One. You remember they there was a couple of games for a while there. I think Uncharted might have been one of them. They did like the whole campaign is 30 frames and then multiplayer was 60 frames. And like why it made sense is like, oh, okay, that makes sense because you're going for a more cinematic experience here, and then just straight up gameplay like you want the 60.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't like that. I would like the cinematic, like when you sit back, grab the popcorn, and watch what's happening. That I would want.
And then the gameplay back
the
to 60.
gameplay, I would always.
Which is actually what they
prefer higher frame
do
rates.
now. Like if you were to take the new Call of Duty game, right?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what their cinematics are in. I assume they're in 30, but
Speaking of the new Call of Duty game, so it was the redacted direct until today,
Yeah, actually,
Xbox unveiled its Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Direct. It is
Pull it
coming immediately following the Xbox Direct Sunday, June 9th, or the Xbox Showcase, rather. So, I mean, we all knew it anyways, but officially confirmed via Twitter. For the Xbox, it's not a leak or anything. It came from the Xbox account.
I mean, it was basically confirmed a few weeks. We all knew.
Yeah,
what it was
we all knew what it was
because of how it was
But
presented.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Direct, what do you think we're going to get, Jordan? What do you want to see from it?
To be honest, I don't know.
There you go. Straight from Jordan.
I mean, let's be honest. Black Ops has gone everywhere. They've gone to the future. They've gone to the past. They've gone. I don't know. They've gone. The Black Ops, was it Black Ops that originally? No. It was World. Well, it was Treyarch that originally gave us zombies, which was World at War. But so I'm gonna say something that matters very little, but I kind of wish they didn't do that. I think the redacted thing is cooler. It's more Black Ops, It's
No, redacted is cooler. Yeah, I'm curious too. So I wonder if there's a plan. Are we going to get something next here? Also, if you notice on this artwork, am I dumb? Why is there it's like a lifeline in the middle, down the middle of the thing, instead of just being a straight line? Is that just for interest? Is that meaningful of anything?
I'm guessing Xbox Showcase is first, followed by ending.
Oh, it's supposed to be an arrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is first.
That's my guess. So it's Xbox Game Showcase followed by Call of Duty Black Ops
So
Direct.
that's just indicative of
It's
that
just a
then?
design choice.
Oh, okay.
If you zoom in very close, it's pointing
is
at
there-
it's pointing
is
at the
there
release
words?
date.
Is there the
there
Illuminati
words?
somewhere in here?
Is
If we
there
go
words?
close enough?
Whoa, like remember they did that? Was it with the Halo 5 bullet? Remember it was like the release date on the bullet if you slowed it down?
I don't know.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I like stuff like that.
But, yeah.
But
Super cool.
No, I wish they would have left it redacted. It's just I don't know.
Well,
I think it's cooler, but it literally means nothing.
Well, we're
It's
like
not a
3
big deal
weeks
at all,
away, so I'm curious, between now and then, do we get something then that drops? Like, is this like, because usually like it's not just like, let's redact it. It's either like we'll redact it and then we'll unveil it at the showcase.
The only reason it was redacted was to let you know it was Black Ops.
But then reveal it. So like, what's the next? Usually like there's a phase. This was phase 2. What's phase 3? It's gonna be phase 3 is gonna be motion graphics of some sort that shows off something. I bet you like it's a way to keep it in the conversation and keep it going. So there's gonna be a phase 3 here. What is phase 3 to this? It's a clear marketing effort. For all you marketing experts out there that were complaining that Hellblade wasn't being marketed, this is an example like of one, you don't know what you're talking about, and two, like there's gonna be a phase 3 here. Like that's what you keep it in the conversation. That's the reason that you do.
I don't think we see anything until the showcase. I think this was what they showed us, which I think they should have left it redacted.
I bet you we see like a panned out of whatever this image is that gives us a clue or something.
The wolf.
Yeah, but it's clearly zoomed in on something. What is the logo on?
Well, don't we know it? Don't we know
a
it?
badge?
Well, no, the wolf. I think it's in like Warzone or Call. That's how we knew it was Call of Duty because of that symbol.
Yeah, no, but
and
if
then
we
the redaction
zoom out,
let us
if
know
we
it was
zoom
Black
out,
Ops.
does it show us a little more? Like it's just a way to keep you in the conversation. So it's gonna be interesting though.
Watch it be some like
I feel like-
tattoo on a butt cheek.
I don't know. I feel like you're overanalyzing the picture a little bit.
I think you
I'm
are.
not overanalyzing the picture. I'm saying you would, if you were not, you do this to keep it in the conversation. I'm saying you redact it at launch. A few weeks later, you then remove that redaction. Boom, brings it back up in the conversation. Get some hype about it. There's going to be a phase 3 to this. I'm just going to be curious.
I think
what that
phase 3 is the gameplay
you're
on the
wrong.
day of.
No, you're wrong.
I think phase 3 is the showcase.
I actually think the showcase of Call of Duty Direct,
That's the final phase.
and I
guys.
love that they just like.
If you notice though, it's Washington D.C. It's the Capitol building.
Well, yeah, because
Behind
it's
there.
like, I think the.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, you're right. Hold on. So if I go, here we go. Let's zoom in. Computer, zoom in. There's the Capitol building.
In the previous Black Ops, there was literally a cutscene with Ronald Reagan.
Holy smokes, David, you're good.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, there's
So
an
is this on like a dollar bill or something?
So, well, what is it on? Like, I bet you, like, this isn't. There will be a phase 3. Everyone.
Does it mean the campaign is going to be about like money laundering, and that's cash?
What was the Call of Duty that Robert Redford was on? Was in?
No, that wasn't that a Black Ops?
Was it Black Ops?
Yeah,
Well-
that's where they had the remote control car.
Yeah, so
It's on the outro of our
wait,
podcast.
I don't think it was Robert Redford. I think it just looks like him.
Oh, I did. We
Yeah, I
just say
think
it
it's,
looks
I think
like
it's,
him.
yeah,
That's
I
right.
think we just
Well,
called
Which one
him
was
Robert
Kevin?
Redford.
Which one?
It's a
Okay, which
character,
one? Well,
but
which one
it's
was
based-
Kevin? Which one was Kevin Spacey?
That
Kevin
was
Spacey was Advanced Warfare,
and I think
believe?
that was Infinity Ward.
And
so this is Treyarch.
Yeah.
Any big names done Treyarch?
Well, Ronald Reagan was in the last game.
Do you think he's IP'd?
Ronald Reagan?
Yeah, you think they have to pay IP for that?
Yeah, you have to pay the U.S.
You have to pay IP for a lot of stuff.
You would probably
there
have
is.
to pay for his like family estate.
His likeness? Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah.
You pay the U.S. government.
Or
President,
is it,
right?
Or is it because he's a public figure you don't have to? I wonder.
That's
I'd be
actually
curious.
a really interesting question because I know that the likeness, like Back to the Future, when the original actor was Marty McFly's dad, and then in Back to the Future 2, they fired him and got someone else, but they used his likeness. It caused a whole lawsuit that made a lot of laws be in place that people can't just do that. So, but because he's a public figure, I don't know.
Yeah,
That
it
might
might
be a
'cause he's a public.
loophole.
Yeah, it might be a public figure.
Man, maybe they should make a game on just all the presidents.
Celebrities are public figures. I think if you have him as a president, maybe or something, I would imagine.
He is president in the
Because
scene that he is in.
celebrities
He tells us to.
You can't
have
do that.
IP'd.
Yeah, you can't do. I mean, you can't just do that. That's why a lot of the laws
That's
are in place.
that's
because of-
why what's her face Black Widow is suing ChatGPT because they stole her voice.
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. Yeah,
Really?
you can ChatGPT 4.0. You can have whole conversations with Scarlett Johansson. She flirts with you. It's great.
Oh my goodness.
amazing.
It's literally that movie.
It's that movie, Her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember when he falls in love
falls in
with
love with- we're
Siri,
there,
which
dude.
is Scarlett Johansson?
Dude, we're there.
That movie just became a true
Bro,
story.
I walk into my office.
That movie's like the
I walk into
Notebook
my
now?
office.
That movie just became a true story, yeah.
I have ChatGPT set. I
Wow.
walk into my office and she's like, "Hey, David, have fun at work." I'm like, "Thank you, Scarlett."
Thanks, Scarlett.
Thanks, Scarlett. I'll see you later.
I want mine to be Snoop Dogg. Can I have it?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know the details. I just see that in the news this week, so I just see headlines. I'm completely.
I'm gonna research
out of date.
the precedents of using public service personalities
IPs.
for like that. But I would assume that to make it not sticky, that Call of Duty developers would have gone to Ronald Reagan's family and asked for permission.
I bet you it's something like the image you can use, but not the voice, or the voice you can use. You know what I mean? Like I bet you there's something like that.
He was voice acted pretty good. Ronald Reagan in the previous
They
podcast.
had access to ChatGPT before we.
Yeah, they
did.
must have. Yeah, they must have. Must have had access to it.
They had early access. They had early alpha. They had alpha code.
I think what I'm most excited about is this is the first COD with a 4-year cycle. So I really want to see what they did with that extra year.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun.
All right, Chat GPT with Ronald Reagan.
That would actually would be cool. Just like, yeah.
Well, everybody.
Han Solo. I want Han Solo
Oh
to
yeah,
talk to me.
Princess Leia.
Princess Leia.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Alderaan. Say that again. Alderaan.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. Appreciate it. Go check out. It's a great time to be a gamer. Go check out Hellblade. It's on Game Pass. You may like it. You may not like it. Regardless, it's graphically impressive. And let us know. Let us know in the comments what you thought of it. Do you agree with Jordan the Man, myself, that it's a good experience? Do you not? Is it for you? Is it not for you? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe to us here on YouTube. If you're listening via audio, leave us a 5-star review over on iTunes or Spotify. Don't go anywhere. The member show's right after this. We'll see you guys over there. Bye-bye.